Hey guys, Coach John here with Business Tips Without Ties. I kind of like that. Anyways, right here we've got a priority management, actually it's a terrific priority management presentation from Senior Focal Point Coach Dan Creed. And I've said all along that I really appreciate the fact that I get to be a part of the Focal Point organization. We're almost 250 coaches worldwide. And Dan's one of our senior coaches. In fact, I interviewed Dan when I made a decision to become a Focal Point coach. I get the chance to spend a little bit of time with him 2 or 3 times a year, and I always get a little bit smarter. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a piece of paper and a pencil here, because Dan's going to talk about reducing your to-do list by 60%. It's a really big deal. I'll be back after the video with some action items. You've been doing a lot of work on, and I think you were talking about priority management, right? You want to take a few minutes and share us some of the stuff that you're doing there?
Sure. Just real quick, I believe that a lot of people talk about time management. And the philosophy goes back all the way to King Solomon's time in the Bible. King Solomon actually had 31 rules of business, and one of those was a time management rule. And it basically said that people are going to respect my time. And the way he did that is a quick tip. The way he did that was he set an appointment with not just a beginning time, but a beginning and ending time. So if we were to meet today, John, I would say we're going to meet at 10 and we'll go to 11.
Right.
So if you show up late, 20 minutes late, we now have 40 minutes left. I'm not going to give you that 20 minutes back. So when we look at time management, I believe it's a major shift. And the researchers that I've worked with also agree that there's a major shift going on in our world and among trainers, because there's a lot of people still talking about time management. And I believe that's inappropriate. I believe a business person has to understand that it's not time management that's important. It's priority management, that we have to learn to take all the tasks that we believe we need to do today. And this is an easy way for your viewers. Make a list of everything you believe you need to do tomorrow. Let's do it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a simple list of everything you think you need to do tomorrow. That includes business, personal, family, everything you think you need to do. And then I want you to learn to prioritize that list. And we prioritize it. Brian Tracy uses an old version in his book of Eat That Frog. And it's pretty simple. An A task is something that you must do. It has very high consequences. A B task is something you should do, but it has low consequences. A C task has no consequences at all. It's something you would like to do if you had the time to do it. A D task is something you can delegate, and an E task is something you ought to take out and eject. So if you go to that list and put A, B, C, D, or E on it, are you ready? I know you're sitting down.
Yeah.
That if you do that and then you make a new list of just your A's and B's, guess what? In most cases, when I've done this thousands of times with probably 10,000 people, that usually that list shrinks by 60 to 80%. So what we find is that in most of the time in life, we're confusing being busy with getting anything done. So
yeah, I agree. I'm going to interject another comment and tell me if you think this happens. When I do that, right? I work hard to get the A's done, right? I don't get to the B's all the time, right? And the C's never climb. They never climb the priority ladder. They're good ideas. They're never good enough to outwit the other ones.
I don't even include my C's anymore on my list.
All right. So yeah. So you're just like, hey, they're good ideas. They just never meet a higher criteria than the A's and the B's, and so
if they grow, they'll show back up.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the key word in all of that is consequence. It's understanding what's the highest consequence if I don't do it. What's the highest consequence? So that then goes in your A's, and there's always one thing that it will have the highest consequence. Always. So we always make that just with your A's, we make that your A1.
Right.
Okay, we make that your A1, and the rule is you do that until it's done and you don't do anything else. So the key to all this is now we've moved from just trying to get everything done, which we know you can't. In fact, there's a German philosopher named Goethe, and he said, never let the least important things be, or rather, never let the most important things be at the mercy of the least important things.
Right.
Never
Yeah,
let
no.
the most important things be at the mercy. And he said that in 1740. So the point is consequence. So when we're focusing on the highest consequence, now we're taking the high priority items in our life and we're managing the time around the important things versus everything.
Well, I want to
So
add another component about consequences, right? Because I think people have a tendency to say, when they hear the word consequences, they think of negative consequences. But some of your A-level items could have really, really positive consequences.
that's it. There's two kinds of consequence. Of course, a consequence can be if you don't do this, if you don't pay your mortgage, you'll lose your house. Another consequence could be if I do this, then I might get a raise. I might make a big sale. I might get a
Right.
promotion. So there's good and bad consequence, but without metrics, you can't have a consequence.
Well,
And without a
you don't know what the
consequence, you
impact
can't
of
have
the
a metric.
consequence is. Yeah.
So from the standpoint of that, I'm telling you, I have two things that I require every client of mine. All my curriculum and all my plan with every client is always customized to their specific needs, with the exception of two things. And one of those is I require every client to go through my priority management training. I
Okay.
require it
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be the one thing that will have an effect on everything else we do. Because as a coach helping somebody, as a business coach helping somebody improve their business, if we focus in on the most important things with the highest consequences, and yet they still try to do everything else around in their lives, the most important things aren't going to get done, which will have a tremendous effect on their investment in business coaching.
All right. So now you've seen and heard Dan's priority management training system, at least parts of it. And he's really, really passionate about this system because priority management affects every single facet of everyone's life. Making decisions, right? There's 3,000 decisions that we get exposed to every day. We're going to make a lot of them wrong. So the idea is if we can make some of them better, we can be a heck of a lot more effective. And Dan, again, he takes every single person through that training system. So here's your action items. It's not that hard. Make a list of everything that you have to do tomorrow. And that means everything, personal, business, whatever it is. Everything goes on the list. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to identify whatever the highest consequence items are. Which items have the highest consequences? Might be positive, might be negative. Number 3, out of that list of A's, and we're not even talking about B's and C's here, out of that list of A's, what is the A1 priority? What is the one thing that has the greatest consequence? And lastly, you're going to put that on your calendar. You're going to schedule some time on that on your calendar to get that thing done. And ideally, you're going to stop and you're going to start that action and you're going to keep going until it's finished. Because when you keep going until it's finished, that guarantees that it's done. All right, now if you have any questions about priority management or you'd like some help because there are so many decisions that we have to make every day, then post some notes on the forum or book a call with the coach. We're here to help.